All right, let's call to order the BZA meeting for May 28th. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So a brief explanation of what's going to happen this evening. We will have a case presentation after we swear everyone in. Then staff will give a presentation. The appellant will have the opportunity to speak to that case. And then anyone in the audience for or against will have the opportunity to speak for or against that case. And at that point, we will close the public portion. Then anyone that spoke in the evening could potentially be called back up. So one of the board members or all the board members may ask questions of anyone that spoke. And then at that point, we'll make a decision to either approve or deny the case. After that, we've got some housekeeping business that you don't have to stick around for, but you're more than welcome to stick out for the whole meeting. And so the next thing we need to do is a roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt.
Here.
Mr. Owens. Oh my gosh, Mrs. Owens. Miss Owens.
Present.
Mr. Shupp. Mr. Sydow. Mr. Roberto.
Present. I notice Mr. Sydow is absent. We need to seat our alternate. And this evening, I think Mr. Charles Beeman is going to be seated. If you please take your seat and swap out the name plaque. So while he's being seated, we'll make good use of our time. If we will have anyone that plans on speaking this evening, if you please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm you will tell the truth and nothing but the truth before the Board of Zoning Appeals? Say I do. Thank you. You may be seated. With that brings us to our first case of the evening. Would be for a variance for the property located at 2411 Roosevelt Avenue. Does the staff have a presentation?
I'm sorry, Mr. Roberto. Can we officially continue BZA 25-8 at 6066 Blue Rock?
Did I skip that one, I guess? Or do I not have that paper? Oh, you know what? I set it aside. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
So I'll just read the request. The applicant provided the zoning administrator with a request that the case be continued to the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to allow additional time for preparation and submission of supporting materials, and the staff recommends that a continuance of the public hearing for the requested variance be granted.
Okay, continuance has been recommended by staff. Do we have a motion to continue?
I'll make a motion to continue.
The motion's been made, and a second?
I'll second.
The second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartolt.
Yes.
Miss Owens.
Yes.
Mr. Shupp.
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann.
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. All right, we'll go back to the case I originally started with, BZA 25-9, which is a variance for a property located at 2411 Roosevelt Avenue. Staff has a presentation?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, case number 2 tonight is BZA-25-9. This is 2411 Roosevelt Avenue. This is a variance. The parcel number is listed on the screen and the packet. It's in the SUR Single Unit Residential Zoning District. The applicant is Jacob's Sons, and the property owner is Bed and Breakfast Property Management. The subject property is a vacant lot proposed for development with a new single-unit dwelling. It's located in a dense single-unit residential character area. Adjacent parcels to the east and south are developed with homes. This parcel to the west formerly had a home on it but is now vacant, and it contains an abandoned curb cut used for informal parking. The lot is consistent in size with nearby parcels but does not meet the current SUR single-unit residential district minimum lot area of 7,500 square feet. The proposed lot area is 5,052 square feet, so we are requesting a 33% variance from the minimum requirement. The proposed dwelling unit does meet all other site development standards. And if you turn your attention to the screen, it's going to show you the density of the area, courtesy of Google Earth. So the subject property is right here. So you can see this is in a dense single-family dwelling area. We do see some empty lots in this area. So this would, if recommended for approval, not be out of character with the other homes in the area. The red dot indicates the empty lot, and you can see that there was a curb cut indicating to staff that there was once a house at this location. The lot was platted long ago, and again, the house that's being proposed meets all the other site development standards. Here's the site plan for the house. You can see the setbacks and the driveway that's proposed, as well as a porch. And on the right side, Miss Petty went to the property yesterday and took a picture. It is a little bit overgrown, but you can see the curb cut, and you can see that it's an empty field next to an existing house. Here's a view of the Google Street View, and just so you can get a closer up look on what this property looks like. So it might look a little bit smaller in aerial imagery than it actually is in real life. Here's another picture of the property by Miss Petty yesterday. The zoning issue is table 4.2.2A. The minimum lot area for SUR is 7,500 square feet. The staff findings are listed on the screen and in the packet, and as always, I'll read the three most important. It's staff's opinion the property in question would not yield a reasonable return without the variance. It's just going to be a field if we don't allow it to be developed. It's staff's opinion the essential character of the neighborhood would not be substantially altered as a result of granting the variance. If it is altered at all, it's in a positive way. And it's staff's opinion the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed and substantial justice would be done by granting the variance. So for that recommendation, the staff recommendation is approval with the condition that the applicant must follow through with following all the comprehensive development standards related to the SUR zoning district aside from this one. Mr. Roberto.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for staff? Is the applicant present? When you come and give your name and address for the record, please. Do we see? I don't have sign-in sheets. Can someone
grab
retrieve
them.
this for me? You can proceed. Thank you.
My name is Jacob Sons. The address is 4865 Smith Road in Westchester, Ohio.
Thank you.
I don't have anything else to add other than just wanted to thank the members for putting together the presentation and thank you guys for your time and consideration on the zoning variance that we're requesting.
Thank you. I see no one else signed up for this case. Is anyone speaking for or against this case? I see none. We have a motion to close the public portion.
I'll make a motion to close the
Been
public
made.
portion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been made. Any discussion? I see none. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartolt?
Yes.
Miss Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Sydow? Or Mr. Shupp? Sorry about that. Mr. Thieben? Mr. Roberto?
Yes. Does anyone have a question for the applicant? I'm just going to leave it open to anyone on the board have a question.
Just one.
Okay, Mr. Bartle?
If you want to come up. I might have missed this, but this is just for a single-family house, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, because I noticed on the, is it the name of your company is Bed and Breakfast something?
That's the owner. That's the owner of property.
Yes, so that's the owner of the property. That is
Yeah.
not ours. Yet we are under contract to purchase the land.
You mean that was the previous owner, the Bed and Breakfast? Oh, okay. I just was curious if this was going to be a rental or,
Do you have any comment on that?
It is not our intention to have it as a rental now. It's a single family home for sale, yes.
all right, that's all, thanks.
So your sale is contingent upon whether this is approved or denied tonight.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Do we have a motion to approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance with the conditions that have been stated by staff in the report.
Okay, this motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Owens beat you? Because she's got purple letterheading on her thing. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartolt?
Yes.
Miss Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Shupp?
Yes.
Mr. Thieben?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Thank you. Yes. Motion is passed. You can continue the sale and move on with developing it and improving the area. We appreciate what you're going to do. That brings us to, we're skipping case 10. We're going to go to BZA 25-11.
Yep. Okay, case 3, BZA 25-11 is at 3310 Compton Road. This is also a variance request. The parcel numbers are listed on the screen and in the packet. This is in the AMC Avenue Mixed Central Zoning District. The applicant is Dan Benfelt, and the property owner is Northwest Local School District. The site is currently home of the Houston Early Learning Center, operated by Northwest Local School District. It's located in the SUR district and developed with a public institution use that predates current zoning regulations. It's surrounded by established residential neighborhoods, and that includes both single-family homes and condominium developments. The school district proposes a full redevelopment of the site for a new Colerain Elementary School. And the project includes demolition of the existing structure, new school construction, redesigned circulation and parking, and enhanced outdoor play areas. During preliminary zoning review, staff identified a few issues that we have that may require variances, including interior parking lot landscaping, streetscape and perimeter buffer yard requirements, and facade massing and architectural articulation standards. Variances are sought to address site constraints, enhance operational efficiency, and reduce long-term maintenance needs. The plans incorporate strategies such as snow storage islands, retention of existing vegetation, and compliant architectural elevations in line with zoning intent. So if you turn to the screen again, we have another Google Earth rendering of the surrounding areas so you can see the density. As we zoom in, we see this is the current Houston Early Learning Center, and you see that this is on a panhandle off Compton Road. It's also going to attach to Lilwood, so there will be two ways to get into this school. The surrounding down here, we have condos. We also have single-family homes, and we have a little bit of open space. It's also off a busy road of Compton. So this is kind of centrally located to a lot of different types of development and a little bit more mixed than some of the cases that we see. Now this is rotated. So if you see Lilwood is actually in the bottom of this picture and Compton is going to be down this panhandle, these are the plans. This is the best way to get some of the subject areas of what we're here tonight about in frame. This is where the parking lot islands are supposed to be, that a variance is being requested for in this long stretch of parking. There's also a stretch of parking in the back and in the front where you see these diagonal lines. That's where buses are going to park. It's staff's opinion, and this has been decided within the department, that the spirit and intent behind the parking lot island requirement does not apply to school bus parking. It only applies to automotive parking. So that has been decided. So when we look at landscape islands, within this case, we're only looking at automotive parking. I took this picture yesterday on a site visit. There's someone in the picture. I couldn't get one without someone in the picture because she was there the whole time. But this is to show the vast sea of what a flat parking lot without any landscape islands looks like. This is currently on the site, and this is an issue that we have throughout the entire township of just having flat parking lots. It's not great for runoff, and it's not great for aesthetics. There's many other reasons that we require the landscape islands, but those are the two that are in the forefront. Okay, this is showing you the entrance to the school, that panhandle I spoke of. So this is where you would turn in on Compton Road. We have a monument sign here. This is going to come up in the context of the required streetscape buffer. There's a variance requesting that be reduced. On the right side, you can see the current sign. There is a condition that is in reference to that sign having a landscape radius around the base of it. So I thought the board should see the sign. There's also a question about vegetation and the buffer of vegetation. This is the typical vegetation that you would see when you come up the panhandle on one side of the panhandle, and it was actually on the other side as well. This photo was taken by me yesterday on a site visit. And then we have elevations of the school. So I'm just going to show you those quickly. We have east at the top, south at the bottom. We have west at the top in this image and north at the bottom. If I go back to the first image, you can see this Colerain Elementary logo or sign, whatever you want to call it, is at the main elevation of the school. This is a 3D elevation of the building. You can see again the Colerain Elementary sign. So you can see this is kind of where the front of the school will be. So you can get a sense of what it will look like on the site. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to see the entire site view. It's kind of difficult to do given the layout of Canva presentations, but I showed you side by side what it looked like on paper and what it looks like right now. So you can see this detention basin being proposed in the back, and you can see parking sort of in an L shape all around the perimeter. So we have a few zoning issues here, and I color coded them because some of them kind of relate to each other. So we'll take purple first. The streetscape buffer we spoke about. The site has already been platted, and it's on a panhandle lot. It's staff's opinion that the streetscape buffer requirement is really not designed for panhandle lots, and it's really not something that we look at too closely with zoning requirements when something has already been platted. The green ones relate to planting requirements in the buffer, so we'll talk about that in a minute. The blue on the right relates to architecture and some of our architectural design standards they weren't really written with the spirit and intent of equitable schools in mind. They were meant more for businesses, especially along Colerain Avenue. So the schools would really have a hard time fitting into that. I think there's other areas with our architectural design standards where they've gone above and beyond to meet and exceed those. So the ones where they don't technically meet, a little bit evened out. On the bottom in orange, the final issue we have is the interior landscaping islands. When I say landscaping islands, every certain number of spaces, there has to be an island that's landscaped with a certain square footage of trees, bushes, just so that we don't have flat parking areas. So the school is requesting not to have to do that so that they can have more effective snow removal, for example. So staff findings, we use the Duncan factors, which are listed on the screen. They're in the packet, and I'll read the three most important in this case. It's staff's opinion the request itself is substantial. There's about 7 variance requests, so it is substantial. It's staff's opinion the essential character of the neighborhood would not be substantially altered. If you look at the site as a whole, it is a nice looking site, and I think it will actually be a value and asset to the neighborhood. In its staff's opinion, the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed, and substantial justice would be done by granting the variance. So for that reason, staff recommendation for 5 of the variances is approval with no conditions. For the variance related to the streetscape buffer, staff recommends approval with a condition that a continuous landscape bed with a minimum radius of 6 feet be installed and maintained around the base of the existing monument sign and shall include a combination of ornamental grasses, shrubs, and ground cover. And finally, staff recommends that the following variance request be denied. The variance requesting that landscape islands not be installed in the parking lot. Mr. Roberto?
Thank you. Give me a second, I'm making notes. All right,
I have a question.
Sure.
So for staff, did you include the 3 facade stipulations? I mean, it sounds like, is it up to you to are you trying to bring that to us because we could override you? Or are you saying they met those 3 stipulations, but you still want our input?
No, I recommend approval for the variances related to those 3 facade.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why are they in here at all? Why are they variances?
Because the applicant, their plans don't meet. For example, let me go back.
So you're saying the
requirements.
parapets and the
Yeah,
massing doesn't meet?
Their plans don't quite meet that, and since it's not a number, we can't give an administrative waiver for that. So we would just need the board to approve the applicant not meeting those, but going ahead to build them anyway.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions for staff? Is the applicant present? Whoever,
There's quite a number of us here.
that's quite all right, just so that you give your name and address for the record.
Sure.
Thank you.
Michael Parkinson with SHP, 312 Plum Street,
Thank you.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Good, sir.
So absolutely, part of the development, we've been working closely with the township, with police, fire, code, and everybody, and going with sort of going with what has been accepted in the previous 3 elementaries. We are following in that same concept, keeping it ease of maintenance for the district throughout the life of this building that's going to be there, given the fact that the building itself is on that sort of panhandle and not really in view. We've taken the trees that would have been in there and have relocated them throughout the site. So landscaping wise, we're being mindful and careful of relocating those trees and making sure we're not just omitting an island without having that additional landscaping spread throughout the site. And at the end of the parking lot areas, we do have curbed islands in there with landscaping, so it does create an anchor point. At the same time, gives a spot for those snowplow trucks to pile up that stuff. It's a very, very tight site, as you can see. There is every inch of that site is used, and there's barely any grass players. So anything we can do to just alleviate cost and maintenance and ease for the school district and following in the same spirit that was done in the previous 3 elementary schools would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next.
Josh Shaw with the Klingers Group, 6219 Center Park Drive in Westchester.
Thank you.
So I'm the bad guy. I'm the guy that's wanting to eliminate the landscape islands for several different reasons. And it's not just for the snow plow to be able to plow easily and get down through there. That is a big concern. It's a school. If there is snow, they've got to remove snow real quick before the cars get in there. So not every morning is a canceled snow morning. I know when I was in school, I always wished it was. As far as the islands go, there is a curb along the east edge, and Mr. Peters, if you could pull up the site plan so I can kind of talk to that, that would be great. So over there on the east edge, there is a curb along that edge, and there is a grass strip down through there. What you can't tell from this plan is there's a drop in elevation because that drive has to drop down because there's the neighboring properties, there's a ditch over there on that side. So there's a significant drop off there. So I'm a little concerned if we have these islands down through there, we're going to have all these curbs that are going to be down through there, and each curb we're going to have to add a catch basin into those locations. So we're trying to reduce the amount of storm structures that we have, because storm structures obviously are areas that people will lose things, kids especially on an elementary site, they're going to drop things in them, and they're maintenance issues. So there's that. If we did put in the landscape islands and we had grass planted in there, the problem you get in any school sites is people are going to drive across them, right? The tires are going to get in, they're going to drag mud out, so then we have to curb them, again leading to having to add the storm. So if we put them in and we don't curb them, we can sheet drain the storm across it and get it on down there, but we're going to have mud that gets drug up onto the asphalt. We've seen it on several school sites. We do have islands at the end caps, as we did on the previous school sites. And so those islands down there, they do have curbs around the outer edge of them to keep cars from going through them and dragging mud out onto the asphalt. As Mike mentioned, this is a panhandle lot. This is tucked back in. I understand, you've got precedence. I understand that from being a zoning officer myself. But with this site, it's currently already a sea of asphalt out there. We're not going to be doing anything worse than what's there. We're actually going to break it up with end caps. We're going to break it up with the one landscape island going down through the east edge there. So I think it's going to be an improvement overall. Yes, I know there are sea of asphalts. Yes, I understand you guys are trying to avoid that. But for the safety and the efficiency of the school being able to remove snow quickly and everything, I feel it's very important that you guys actually consider approving this request.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else speaking for the site? Anyone speaking in opposition? Can you name and address for the record, please?
Adam Schmidt, 3283 Lilwood Lane, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45251.
Thank you.
I don't know that I'm necessarily against the variances. More here to address some concerns. If you don't mind, could you go to the staff recommendations, please? Sorry, staff findings. Thank you. It is staff's opinion the essential character of the neighborhood would not be substantially altered as a result of granting the variance. I don't know if this is to be the case or not, but currently, as a resident, I'm 3 houses down on the right once you leave the school parking lot, and there's other neighbors here as well. And maintenance at Northwest Local School District has thus far, with Houston Elementary being a small student body, done a very poor job of locking the gate that exists there to shut the street down after school hours. They generally will leave it open. There have been many people coming by going 50 miles an hour. We have small children ourselves. I would like to know how, if any of this matters to our safety concerns as far as enlarging the student body, and if Lilwood Lane would be used as an exit. Again, I don't quite care about landscape, I'm more concerned about my children. The traffic, the increase in traffic, it's already an issue, and the maintenance issue as well, of locking that up. So that's my concern today.
Okay, thank you, sir. I noticed three other names on the list that have not come forward. So one would be Chris McKee. Do you plan on speaking this evening, sir? About Michael Haug? No? All right. And Dan, man, you guys are. What's that? Danefeld. Do you plan on speaking this evening? I wasn't planning on it. Okay, thank you very much. I want to make sure that everyone who signed up had the opportunity. Anyone else speaking for or against? I see none in my sheet, so can I have a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Shupp? Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Miss Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shupp,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Mr. Thiemann, since you're the last to come on the board tonight, you get to go first. Any questions for the applicants?
I don't at this time, thank you, though.
Okay. Mr. Shupp,
Yeah, if I could address the applicant.
which one would you like to speak to? Michael,
I'll let-
Josh, or
I'll let
Adam?
him call. Josh. Okay, yeah. The gentleman asked a question regarding gating that at night. Any consideration been given to that, or how do you envision that?
So I will defer to Chris on his operations of that, but it is our intent that all the traffic is going to flow in and out from Compton. That back is going to be an access for fire only. It is not something that we're currently planning to use as our day-to-day operations.
So with that, is the gate going to then be secure at all times until the fire department then has a key to get into it?
Yes.
Very good.
Go ahead.
Not yet. We'd like to get you some steps in. So. Ms. Owens, do you have any questions for applicant or anyone?
I do not at this time.
Okay, Mr. Bartle?
Just for staff.
Sure.
The other three elementary schools, did they get a variance for new islands?
Those were before my time, and since our zoning resolution changed on October 10th, the parking requirements, in a way, because we have no more minimum parking requirements, got looser, but in this way got stricter. So I would imagine they did not have to do the landscape islands, especially in the way that it's being requested that this applicant does them, but I'm not sure.
I thought I recall Pleasant Run having to do something, if I remember correct, because a part of our concern was doing donuts in the parking lots. And that would help kind of control that.
Yeah, it would, and it would help with I didn't mention, but also like a heat island effect. with
You're
all
saying
the
just one of the three?
I can remember specifically talking about Pleasant Run. I don't know if the
do.
other ones.
Do you know?
I was going to say, we were the designers.
Come on to the podium because it has to be recorded.
We were also the design team for the previous schools, and I don't believe we had to get any kind of a variance on those, but all those parking lots have end caps, and actually the parking is laid out a little bit differently. If you look at those lots, I believe there are only about 14 spaces in a row, each of them, for the end caps being on those, whereas these, I know we've got a lot more, but
a long rifle.
it's a longer layout of it, so it's a little bit different layout, sorry.
Yeah, I thought I remember them being some sort of barricades to keep them from having a.
Now, if you look at, I don't know if you have any aerial image of like Taylor Elementary, but the lot down below Taylor Elementary has no kind of islands or anything in it, and it's probably the one that's got some of the longer spaces without any kind of islands in them.
All right, thanks. And then when it comes to the buffers,
Yeah.
if there's existing native vegetation there and that's being used, not that it would all go away magically, but if
Yeah.
it got cut down for whatever reason, would they have to then put in the buffers that they should have put in?
Well,
Or do we just
the
assume
zoning
that-
resolution and our department encourages using any type of native plant that's already there. And we've actually been in discussion with the applicant of utilizing some of that native plant to meet those requirements. They have agreed to keep the native plant there, so just like any buffer, if you took out any buffer,
Yeah.
then you would likely in some way be in a zoning violation. They don't intend to do that. They intend to leave a lot of the native plants that we see.
Can we go back to the photo that you took of kind of this along the side? It looked like there was a lot of dead.
At the panhandle?
I think it was at
I know what you're talking about.
Maybe at the entrance? Yeah, that too looks horrible.
So would you agree that it's going to look better than that once you open your new school? Just aesthetically? Okay. I would imagine.
I mean, all you see is dead trees that got vines.
What do you mean, by means of new plantings?
Just cleaning, trimming things up. This is a snapshot of a school. They know that it's coming down, and they know that, they'll be aesthetically making some changes. I don't think this is a great representation of what the school site is going to look like once it opens. I think it'll look nice.
But it is a representation of what they're doing now.
It is, yeah.
So shame on you there. Because that does set a precedence with us is if you're not doing it now, what means you're going to do it in the future. All right. You have any other questions?
No, that's all.
Okay.
I do have a question.
Okay.
After this, I'm curious, the gentleman, his name escapes me, that spoke about the increase in traffic on the lane.
That would be Mr. Schmidt.
Yeah, and my understanding is there should be no increase in traffic. Is that accurate? Because that lane should not be used at all?
It's only for a fire lane is what they addressed.
That is correct. You're talking about Little Willowwood.
Right, you heard his question, that,
Yes.
they have small children and traffic coming in.
Yes.
So it will not increase.
Correct.
In fact, it should decrease.
Is it being used now?
It's being used now.
It isn't used this year. Okay.
Okay.
Last year.
All right. So just so that it's captured, the audience member said it has been in use this year and last year, but we're also saying from the audience that it's going to be discontinued and it's only going to be used for fire and emergency equipment.
For clarification purposes, was it supposed to just be used for fire currently, or you're saying we're changing that?
We're changing that.
Okay, thank you.
I think the way that we have our traffic flow now on the new site.
Mr. McGee, if you just come on up to the podium and you can address it properly. Thank you.
Can you state your name and address for the record?
Chris McKee, 3377 Compton.
Thank you.
If you look at the traffic flow on the site now, that's been improved. So we have a loop that goes actually all the way around the building. So we were able to gate off this end and still be able to, especially for fire department, and also for our traffic for such as dumpster, garbage removal, things like that, to be able to bring the trucks around the side of the building. The left-hand side of this building, which would be the west, is our service drive that goes along the back side of the building.
It looks like your intent is to kind of control your flow going in one direction all the time.
Correct. Correct. So even the buses will come in off of Compton in the bus lot, circle around, and go right back out Compton. Same thing with car traffic. It'll be looped up and around and back out to Compton.
Looks like somebody's done some thought.
Yes, we try to.
Any other questions? Do you want to make a motion?
Well, before we do that, since you have three different conditions, one approved, one approved with a condition, and one denial.
I have
Can
four,
we-
I count
can we
four.
make-
I count four. So
There's 5 approved with no conditions and
No,
one of
there's
each.
3 conditions. Approval with no conditions, approval with a condition, and denial.
That's right.
Can we make motions on them separately so that because if we group them all together,
That's
somebody
fine.
might want to do yes
Yeah.
on some and no
So
on some.
that's how we'll approach it then. So the first condition would be for the planning requirements for the buffers, alternate requirements, facade massing of the roof line changes, and the flat roof. That would be the first one that we would talk about with
Correct.
no conditions.
So if you want, I'll make a motion to approve those 5 that were just listed with no conditions.
I'll second.
Okay, so motion and second has been made to approve
The first 5 conditions.
1 through 5 with conditions on the 4.3.3 E, F, A, B, and C, 6.2, and so forth in our notes. Motion's been made. Do we have a second? All right,
I think so. Did we?
Yeah, Ms. Owens.
second. Any discussion? All right, roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shupp,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Second would be the buffering standards of the street landscape, is that what I'm reading correctly?
Yes.
Okay, and that would be
With that condition.
with the condition, I'm trying to see what the condition was. That the continuous landscape bed with a minimum radius of 6 feet be installed, maintained around the base of existing monument sign shall include a combination of ornamental grasses, shrubs, and ground cover as the condition.
Right.
Do we have a motion to, that, is that the motion? I'm on the floor.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the variance that was just described by Mr. Roberto.
Okay.
With the condition.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll make a second.
All right, second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Miss Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shup,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. And the last would be the variance for the landscaping standards for the interior parking,
The
islands. Do we have a motion to accept or deny?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance for 4.7.5, paragraph B.
Mr. Bartholt, can you make a condition that all the plantings and trees that would have gone into the landscape islands go somewhere else on the
With the
property?
condition that all the plantings for the islands that should have gone in those islands be located somewhere else on the property.
That motion has been made. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second's been made. Any discussion? See none. Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Miss Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shup,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. I think that closes that off. And you guys heard it, so everything's been approved with conditions. Just get her done. Next. All right, the next,
You can take off if you would like.
yeah, if no one has to stick around if they don't want to. The next is unfinished business. I see none. We got approval of minutes from the February 26th meeting. I noticed one error. I've circled it and I've given it to staff. Otherwise, I have no issues with the minutes. Just, can someone make an approve with one correction? It's just a typo.
I'll make a motion to approve it with the
Correction.
typo correction.
Okay.
Second.
Motion's been made and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Miss Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shup,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Next meeting would be June 25th. We have one that's being continued to that date. Any other cases we expect?
We have several, and we have 10 sign cases to deal with.
Okay.
So we'll expect a long night that night.
And then we have administrative matters. Do we have any?
We have none.
And
But I'm curious, when it comes to the signs, once it goes to the trustees, and what's the next step? Or do they actually take them down, or they?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first two we did, I sent out dozens of letters about the dozens of abandoned signs in the township. The first two we did were to kind of establish the process. Those are going to the trustees on the 10th of June. The trustees will either vote to abate them and have them removed, or vote to not do that, the same way they do with junk vehicles, similar way they do with junk vehicles. And if they order the signs removed and the owner does not remove them, they have a certain number of days before we will hire somebody to go on the property, remove the sign, and we will abate that with the auditor.
and then file a lien against the property.
That's right. That's what I mean, yeah.
Okay.
And what is the process for getting a sign before you or before us? Like, are the residents filling out, not applications, but I mean, how
How
are
do
they
I
coming
know
to
about
your
this?
acknowledgement
Yeah.
that they exist?
I scoured the township and found them all. I
Okay.
don't think I've missed any. So I've sent a letter to every abandoned sign in the township, and we have a backlog now of letters. I don't want to give you 50 at once, so I think we're going to do 10 a month for the next few months, and see how those go. But there are also requirements. Our zoning resolution says that you have to wait 90 days. It has to be abandoned 90 days before I can even send them a letter. And then I have to give them a certain amount of time to respond and apply for a new sign. And a few people have done that. There's a iCheer on Colerain Avenue that received a letter. They put a new sign up. The sign had been vacant for almost 20 years, but it's now reactivated. I'm fine with it. And then there was a shield-shaped sign at Pippin and Adams that advertised the Village Discount grocery store. Sent him a letter. He tore it down himself. So there's a variety of different outcomes that are happening here.
Who's responsible for the ones that are on the highway that are in the township, though?
That would be ODOT. It's not us. We have no control over those signs. We can't pick what goes on them or how often they put them. We also, for the record, can't control billboards to a large extent. We can control the size of them, but we have to allow them. So there's certain signs that
Like
not
if-
all signs are created equally.
Yeah, like if it's pointing to something that no longer exists, or
Is there one that that's that way?
saying a restaurant is at this exit that's not.
Yeah, I could contact ODOT and have them take it down.
And then the second question was
Yeah.
just, it's not a question, but I'm just curious, when there are new board members and alternates, do we do an orientation, or is there a one-page handout that can be given?
Yeah, due to some issues that were totally innocent, meaning on this board and other boards in the township, I've been in talks with administration to do like a township or a board member orientation, where we all just kind of remind each other, or we have a meeting and we all go over the bylaws and what it means to be on the board, the rights and responsibilities that come with it. And we need to do one of those in the next 90 days or so.
Yeah, we used to do workshops.
That's, yeah,
part of
that's
that
exactly,
workshop.
that would exactly be at a workshop.
That's why I was also just, like, even if there was a handout that listed the main,
Yeah,
or do's and don'ts kind of thing.
yeah, I think that that could definitely be something I work on.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, any administrative matters?
I have none.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Don't all fight for it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second, any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Shup,
Yes?
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.